You work in 8 to 5, not a 9 to 5. It's 8 to 5, right? And you're doing TikTok shop. And how long do you think it took you to make that video?
A minute.
That's
I think
so
that day,
crazy. So what'd you end that month with profit?
April was
That's nuts. All right, Ben, thanks for joining. Like I was saying earlier, I feel like we just had this first conversation of like getting started, and now you're already crushing. So it's pretty exciting.
I know it's short span, lots happened, and exciting experience.
So let's talk about it. So when did you get started?
I think it was mid-February I uploaded my first ever post.
Okay, first ever post. Let's talk about that a little bit. So how'd you get into it? Why did you want to start doing affiliate? And like, what was it like when you first started posting?
So I've wanted to do it for a while. I just didn't have access to the opportunity. And I'd seen you post about it for months. And I was like, oh, I saw the link in your bio, said, all right, let's try this out. Why not? What's the
Uh,
worst that can happen? And it's been a great experience so far. And first posting says like, oh, 3 videos a day. That could be kind of daunting. And
yeah.
now sometimes I have to stop myself from posting like 7, 8 videos in a day.
Yeah, most people when they hear 3 a day, it can sound like a little bit much. Once you get going, how much work would you say it takes you to post those 3 videos a day?
Like under 10 minutes.
That's ridiculous. Okay, so under 10 minutes. Okay, Ben, so I want to talk about kind of you work in 8 to 5, not a 9 to 5. It's 8 to 5, right? And you're doing TikTok shop on the side. So for anybody who maybe also works a 9 to 5, feels like they don't have enough time, how have you managed that? And what would kind of your advice be to them? Because you've been very consistent. You've done 150,000 in GMV, close to $13,000 in profit in your first few months while working in 8 to 5. What would you say? Kind of any advice for that?
I'd say one of the biggest things is time blocking because you always have time.
Yeah.
And really every day there's an extra 30 minutes to maybe an hour of time you probably have that you might have wasted. Maybe you were doom scrolling, watching CJ's shot videos,
Yeah.
like that. But there's always time for it. And in all honesty, recording a shot video does not take that much time. You can bang out like I think this past weekend in about 45 minutes to an hour. I made 20 shot videos.
That's unreal.
And so there's always time for it. I still have time even with working full time and I work out 5 or 6 days a week and still have free time if I want to go out with friends or play golf or something like that. There's time for it. You just have to time block your time and make sure you're efficient with your time management.
And not doom scroll. You're right, honestly. I think you don't realize how much time you waste and how much time you actually have in a day. You're working 8 to 5, you're working out 5 days a week, you have a social life, and you're really consistent with shot. You're not wasting time. You're probably not laying down for an hour or two a day, You're probably always doing something.
For the most part, I'll be honest, I still even have time to occasional doom scroll.
Yeah, that's unreal. I mean, I really think there's no excuse to not have time. Everybody has time. Everybody has the same 24 hours in the day.
And it's about if you really want to do TikTok shop, it has to be somewhat of a priority. Obviously, I still work 9 hours a day, but even that little bit, like in the morning, sometimes before work, record a quick few videos, and there's always time for it.
Yeah, I think most people think about it more than actually doing it. Like they think about what I should do, what videos to make. I don't know what to do, and it's all up here. They spend 45 minutes trying to figure it out. Just focus on action, focus on putting videos out, right? And then all the results will come. But there's too much time, I think, spent overthinking that they could have just spent actually working, and getting things done, and then they would be a lot better off. But yeah, I think that's really impressive. Most people who work 9 to 5, you're working 8 to 5, think they don't have enough time, but they definitely do. So let's talk a little bit about results. So first month profit, second month profit. Yeah, talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, so I started midway through February, about 2 weeks in February. Slow start. I did only $41. Still doing at least 3 videos every day.
What were you thinking when you did $41? Was there any doubt at that time? Like, oh shoot, like am I actually gonna make money with this? Or
I'd say a little bit, but February I was like, all right, I'm just getting started, getting the hang of it. I know things could get traction later. Then March it picked up a little bit. I think I made just around $700 in March.
okay,
And I
solid.
will say then, even though I was making money, I had some doubts. I was starting
Okay.
doing some math and whatnot. And then April's where things started really changing.
Okay, so talk about April.
So April, it actually thing where it becomes kind of passive. Some old videos I had, videos from like mid-March, early March, I just started hitting the algorithm. And April became, I think, the last day of March was my first ever $100 day. Every day since then, I have had a $100 day.
You haven't had under $100 day since then?
I think I had one $95 day. So basically every day.
That's nuts. That's nuts. So what'd you end that month with profit?
April was 8,000. Yeah.
$8,000 profit. Okay, so what do you think that did mentally for you just seeing those kinds of numbers? Obviously, there's people, doing 100K plus a month, but like $8,000 is a lot of money. What did that do for you mentally just about like what's possible with it?
It really made me see the potential. I like how you said that because I mainly focused on one product. I think about $6,000 to $8,000 was this one fitness bar product, but that made me realize, all right, I have one product, kind of like I'd call it like the chamber. And I was like, all right, if I have have two, three, four products I'm
Yeah, we
building.
talked about that. Yeah.
All of a sudden, that 8,000 a month comes at 20, 30K a month.
And I think something you talked about was one of your old videos is the one that started doing well. I think what people do sometimes, and maybe you did this, is they'll judge their videos within the first week of posting it. Or like, they posted a video yesterday, they're like, oh, it's only at 200 views. I'm sure the one that blew up for you was probably at like, maybe, do you remember or no? It was maybe at 1,000 views. You probably have no clue because you weren't even looking at it, right?
Yeah, I probably like 800, 900 views.
Exactly.
I checked.
So that's why the volume and going into affiliate thinking I'm going to just stay consistent for like 3 to 4 months and see what happens. That's when people succeed. The problem is most people get a couple weeks in, they're like, oh, I'm not good at this, and they just stop. But those videos might end up doing really well. Like I currently have a video from last summer that's made me a few grand over the past, like blow up randomly. And it's just like every time you post, you're just planting a seed that could later do well. So yeah, 8K in your second month, that's pretty crazy.
It definitely was. And I love that what you're saying, like, don't focus on the views right away. Doesn't really matter. More often than not, a video's first day is not going to do incredibly well. And as you said, you're planting that seed and any given day.
And then this month you did around 4K profit, you said?
Yeah, slightly over 4K.
Okay, over 4K. So total profit past few months you've done around like 12, $13,000.
Yeah,
Okay. And just before we started the call, you mentioned something about a brand deal. You don't have to leak the brand's name or anything like that, but you can just kind of talk the basis of it, like kind of how that worked and what's going
yeah,
on there.
definitely. So in the works of with the brand right now on what's called a retainer deal, where they help you for a set amount of videos in a month. You have to post every single day. In this case, it's 2 videos a day, and they'd be paying me a base of I think it's about 4,000, and then you'd also still be eligible to earn the commissions for the products as well. And getting paid, I think you were talking about this earlier. If you're already gonna be posting a product, you might as well get some base pay in addition to that commission.
In the beginning, people are so focused on, views and making money. Once you start making money, I think it's almost just like a snowball, right? Like opportunities kind of just fall in your lap. So at first, all you did was focus on how can I make my videos better? You were asking a lot of questions. How can I make this better, etc. All you did was focus on the skill. Now you have something blow up. You made $12,000, $13,000 commission, and now brands are just asking you to pay you. Like that wouldn't happen if you didn't have videos blow up, right? They wouldn't be asking Ben to pay him $4,000 if he was a terrible affiliate, posted every once in a while, and just like gave up. But they see you're posting consistently. They see you've done a lot of GMV. They'll throw you 4K, which is pretty crazy. I think in the beginning, all you just have to focus on the skill. You have to focus on getting better. You start to get that profit coming in, and then brand deals. I mean, 4K a month is pretty crazy. That's a salary, and that's just base, like you said, on top of the commission.
Definitely. I mean, as you're saying, like at the start, definitely utilizing the group and asking questions, being like getting you or Mark reviewing my
Yeah.
videos, being like, what do I need to do better? What can I do in this? And then as I learn the skill, it just becomes process, 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 rinse and repeat. You just keep posting, and eventually the volume, it's kind of like you're planting a seed or like a little lottery ticket. Any video could blow up at any point.
Do you know the most you've made off one single video?
I could check. I think I have one video. Actually, this might have been the first video that blew up. I think it made me. It's got 2 million views now. This video, before it blown up, I think I posted it March 17th. About 3 weeks later, it was blowing up, and it has done $2,100
In commission. That's nuts. From one, and how long do you think it took you to make that video?
a minute.
That's
I think
so
that day I
crazy.
filmed like 10 in a row, and I
That's
was
such a crazy concept. It almost seems like I think when people say that, it almost sounds too good to be true. And obviously, not every video is going to take you a minute and make you 2 grand. And like, I don't get how people get unmotivated, right? Every time you post, you have the ability to have one just blow up and make. I'm sure you've seen crazier numbers than 2 grand, but 2 grand from
yeah.
one video that took you 5 minutes.
I've seen like I know you have like the comfort sweatpants video where you said you were just like rushing out of the house, made
Yeah,
a
yeah,
quick
yeah, yeah, yeah.
maybe like
Yeah,
$50,000.
it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. When you started, you had no experience with affiliate, right? What would you say Affiliate Academy, being in the group calls, how would you say that helped you?
I would definitely say early on, like in February, I was making no money, especially utilizing the group for video review was a big thing.
Yeah.
Learning more just about the ins and outs of TikTok Shop Affiliate and like how to do product research, how to find a certain product. And
Yep.
really, the group helped a lot, especially just staying with the strategy. There's a lot of new people who now we're seeing. I know a few people and they're all doing like 10K months now who
Yeah.
pretty recently. And it's just a great group to keep you motivated, keep you in the process, say, okay, this is where you're at and this is how we're going to get there.
Yeah, like having people around you doing the same thing. I think it's easy to get unmotivated and then, talking to people being like, hey, I'm struggling, them understanding that that's normal. Because once you get going, like you said, it's kind of hands off. Once you get in the groove, it's not a lot of work every single day. But the hardest part is probably that beginning phase where it might feel a little bit hard. You don't know what you're doing. You're overwhelmed. There's too much information. So just having someone to like help guide through that aspect is probably the most important thing.
Oh, definitely. Learning from
Um,
people who already succeeded in what you're doing is probably one of the most valuable things. Copying, somewhat copying, looking over your
yeah.
videos. okay, how did CJ say this?
Yeah.
Into my own videos.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, going back to when you started and then talking to yourself from your perspective now, what's one thing you wish you could have maybe told yourself when you first started? Or this could be not even just yourself, like anybody who is kind of looking to start or get into it.
I'd say one thing at the start, I was kind of just excited about a lot of products, everything, and I wasn't that consistent with what I posted. Like I know you had even said like 10 to 15 videos of product. Sometimes I'd post a few and be like, oh, none of them got views, get discouraged, kind of move on. I think I moved on too quickly on some things, which coincidentally, actually, one of those like a push-up board, which actually
Yeah.
I think that was my first video to ever blow up. That's got like 1.8 million views now. And I just posted some push-up board videos and I was like, ah, I'm done with that. I don't care about it. Wasn't getting any views. But I think it's really just sticking with the process, kind of doing like you guys said, like 10 to 15 videos of the product before moving on. And
Yep.
if it does catch on, you have a lot of exposure out there.
And one thing I think you do really well, and I think you do it on purpose, and anybody else can do this, is like you have a good physique. You go to the gym often, so you're doing products that help complement what you already have going for you. So like
Yeah,
anybody could utilize that. You know what I mean? Everybody has their advantage.
definitely. Like you have good skin, do skincare stuff, fitness stuff, or teeth, toothpaste, some acne.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, it's awesome. Okay. All right, Ben. Last thing, normally the way I like to end it, I want you to set a goal for 2025 of 1 month's profit. Your best month so far is 8K. Normally people say 10K, but I think we can do higher than that. We have like 5 months left of the year, 5, 6 months. What is your goal profit? And then we can get back on once you hit it and make another video.
I want to hit a 20K month in 2025. I don't just want to, I will.
You will. I believe in you. It's very doable. And, all the results will come if you just keep focusing on the process like you're doing. You know what I mean? Getting a little bit better every day, showing up every day, posting every day. 20K month. We'll get back on when you do that. Any last words you want to leave anybody with? Thinking about starting?
Just believe in yourself.
I
You
agree.
can do it. The only person stopping you is yourself.
Mic drop. All right, Ben. Well, thanks for hopping on, dude. I think that was awesome. And we'll get back on once you do the 20K month.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.